I want to know your impression of the conference so far.
Wondered if there was anything else like this out there. A gathering for women leaders. Right? You know, like I said, it's a uniquely challenging space. And just seeing over 200 women here cheering each other along, saying, I see you, you get me. You understand my struggle. It's just been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, and you still have your breakout.
Yes.
No, I do think it is unique because of the focus. This is, I think, going to be one that hopefully is just focused on bringing value to the people that come, you know.
We appreciate it on behalf of all the women.
Disruptors, defy the odds. Disruptors, defy the odds. Performance over potential. Got mad talent raining down. It's torrential.
Welcome to Less Than 1%. Welcome to Brilliance. I'm actually here on site in Chicago at the Hilton Chicago for Brilliance 2025. It is a conference dedicated to women who are disrupting healthcare. I mean, we've had probably about 250 people. Yeah. And this, you know, I think this started, you know, probably because I was raised right by my mama.
Okay.
but I mean, I think that if you look at the future of healthcare, it's going to be predominantly female, predominantly women, both in leadership, which you definitely had a role in. I want to hear more about that. But also, I think on the physician side, on the resident side, and on the medical school side, we're seeing the women are doing well. The men, yeah, you're a little bit better. I mean, you're kind of falling off, but the women are really, really taking hold. So I think this is a great example of hopefully something that gets legs. So you have two amazing sons.
Yes.
And you show the picture. One is 6'6" and 6'4".
Yeah.
And so tell me about, because you almost got emotional when you were talking about him. And there's more there.
Well, so my big boys, my jumbo shrimp, I call them. They are my world, as you can imagine. They are everything, and they inspire everything that I do, which they wouldn't believe because, you know, we're always at it as kids are. But, you know, coming through as a physician in America, a Black woman in America, raising two Black men in America, gives you a different sensibility to you know, people talk about when you have children, it's like your heart walking outside your body all the time, and in the way that you're anxious and worried about. And I think when you're raising Black men, that's a whole other level of anxiety.
Yeah.
And thinking about how the healthcare system, how they interact with it, how it interacts with them, how the world interacts with them, you know, makes me think about how can we get people to see an individual. You know, my boys are big, and when people see big men, they're like, "Oh, he's scary." But I'm not there to tell them that they're gentle giant. I'm not there to tell them they're kind, and that they are considerate, and that they're, you know, caring about people. People just see these two big people, and that's kind of the essence that you worry about when we talk about disparities and inequities, because people assume things about others, and we engage with them based on our assumptions. And so how do we make sure that you actually, you know, don't think about equity or inclusivity as some generic thing, but really think about it as understanding the person in front of you and their value as a human being, just there, and just engaging with that person. That's what I think about, and that's the energy that I get.
Well, that was the energy I saw, and it was the same energy that I have, you know, with my kids. And I told my wife we should never have kids. If I get to come back in my next life, I don't want them, because I don't want to feel like that about anything. There's just, I don't want to do that. And don't tell anybody.
Okay.
That when I was on stage, I got choked up. Don't do that, okay? Because that wasn't supposed to happen.
It'll be our secret.
Yeah. Are you tired of healthcare leadership? I know that's a loaded question, and I'm going to get back to Nwando. You have she has a long history of amazing healthcare leadership. But did you need a break from it? Did it?
I don't know quite how to answer that question. I think healthcare leadership in the way that a lot of us have been doing it feels like admiring the problem.
Mm.
It feels like we pick it up every morning, we turn it over and we're like, this is bad. Maybe we should do this. And then we turn it over and we put it back down. And then we have another huddle and then we pick up the problem and we turn it over. And I really think that to the essence of the conversation today, disruption is necessary.
Yeah.
We need to reimagine what healthcare 3.0 should look like. And who better to do it than those of us who are already in it, who've been
Yeah.
part of the front lines. But it's hard to reinvent when you're sitting right there because, the structure is designed to protect and improve status quo. And if you're trying to disrupt, you sort of have to step away from it and
Yeah.
then look back at it with new eyes. And new eyes informed by your history, new eyes informed by your experience. And so I don't know that I'm tired of it. I think it needs new eyes. It needs a new way.
But you say new eyes, but you also want to educate. I mean, I know that you want to do coaching, or you are doing coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so are you advising healthcare leaders, or is it just physicians in general, or is it anybody?
I advise and coach leaders, healthcare leaders, business leaders, particularly women. And the reason I do that is because I think that, like I said, we need to look at it with new eyes, but those new eyes need to be informed by our experiences. And so I want people who have been, trying to make it work to say, hey, I actually have within me the knowledge, the expertise, and the experience to actually pivot, to look at these things a different way. And particularly for women leaders, they struggle with the story. How do you tell the story of all that you bring to the table? How do you use that to get yourself hurt? Because that's a problem. How do you make sure that your experience is not dropped behind the couch, right? That everything that you've learned along the way is of service to this new world that we're trying to create. So, people who are in technology trying to get into health systems, have you thought about the people who are going to use this, the patient, as well as the physicians, as well as the business decision makers? Have you thought about that whole continuum of people who you want to look at your product and the problem that you're trying to solve? And so I think that for me, it's really a passion work to have people understand that all that they bring is valuable to the next step.
So if pretend I'm a young woman, let's say I'm at a middle manager, maybe I'm I'm an ED director, or, a unit director, or something like that, or I'm a VP, on the operations side.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot. And I know you're not somebody who hold grudges or, dwell on bad things that have happened to you. That's not your personality. But you probably, I anticipate, had some experiences where people treated you poorly as a Black woman leader in healthcare. Yeah. So I want to ask two questions. One, could you tell me about it, one of those times, if you could? And then what would you advise, young leaders that know that that's coming and how to deal with that?
Whew.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to need more wine.
Well, you haven't got no wine yet.
Okay.
So let's get some wine.
I think the first statement you made is correct. I don't dwell on negativity.
Yeah.
I think whatever happens to you is education. It's all information, right? So if people come into your space and they judge you because of whatever their predisposition was, you can't control that. What you can control is how do you engage? How do you show up? And how do you show them that they're wrong?
Yeah.
And sometimes, you can, sometimes you can't. But you always have to be true to yourself, your why, and your integrity. And so, oh boy, in this long journey that I have, I don't even know how I could pick one example.
But tell me one that, I want to know the one that sticks with you the most. Because I think, and the reason I'm going there is because I think it's theoretic for people. I think it's sort of it's like me getting pulled over at gunpoint on the ground in my own neighborhood thinking I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like, it's just theoretic. You start talking about this and that. But when people tell the story of what happened to them, you're like, that's terrible. So that's
I guess the one that comes to mind right at this moment would be when my compensation was questioned, right? I was told, yeah, we're doing this new comp model, but
Right.
if we use it, you've been so productive that if we use it the way that we envision it, you're going to get paid too much. Like, too much for what?
Yeah.
Too much for who?
Yeah.
Right? Because clearly I should not make all of that in
Right.
their perspective. And, and looked at me in my face and said, if you want to make more money, you need to consider working harder. And I thought, I'm already grinding to the ground.
Top of the rung.
I am maxed out.
Yeah.
I'm, leaving my children in the morning to get to work and then go back and take them to, I'm doing it. You want me to work harder? And I realized that narrative repeated not just for me, but for the 3 other Black women in our group, not for anybody else.
Wow.
And I don't even know if they realized that that's what happened. But within a year, all of us were gone. Because people can tell you whatever they tell you, but the way they treat you shows you whether you're valued or not.
Yeah.
And that's, you look at it, and the lesson I took from that is to never let myself be defined by someone else, to make sure I tell my story in a way that gives the narrative that I want, so that people understand my impact, so people understand the value that I bring, because nobody's going to look for it. I have to actually tell them. And, especially, and this is part of the reason why I love to work with women leaders, we've grown up with being taught to be modest and to not, talk too much and not all of those things. Just keep your head down. Your work will speak for you. Yeah, work does not speak. You have to speak. And that's something that many of us have to learn. And so, like I said, every experience that happens, I take it as an education. What did I learn from that? Speak. Tell people what you do. So that in telling them, A, you're telling yourself, but B, you're keeping the record straight.
Yeah, I mean, that's great advice. Great advice, frankly, to anybody. Even when you know that the bad thing is going to happen. I love the idea of telling your own narrative.
Yeah.
I think I shared, or maybe I didn't share this with you. I share this a lot. Just my development, my growth as a leader, and me hiding parts of myself, forever. Like, I've been in it 9 years and I still haven't fully exposed who truly Moo is. But I mean, I think things like the podcast, my book, I kept all those things hidden and separate, but they're actually part of me as a leader. And it took some people to say, hey, this is good stuff, or no, keep going. So I love that you're doing that for up and coming leaders. So something I asked, you had something.
Yeah, I wanted to say that sometimes people worry about telling their story because they're like, well, maybe nobody cares. I was talking to a lady as I was coming out of the session, and she said, well, I'm brash and loud, and so I don't want to be brash and loud. I'm like, there's somebody out there who's brash and loud who needs to hear from you.
Yes.
That brash and loud girls can do well too, right? And and your particular narrative is of importance to somebody and to some subset of the populations, and you're not going to know if you don't share it, right?
Yeah,
and so I think it's really important that whatever it is you bring, that is your journey, and somebody needs to hear it.
Something I ask everybody, superpower. Do you have a superpower? Do you know what it is? It can't be you're on time. It can't be something simple. It has to be something unique to you that no one else can do as well as you do.
I will tell you that my superpower is taking complex ideas and breaking it down so they're accessible. I can explain anything to anyone.
Wow.
And I didn't actually always realize that, because early in my career, I judged myself for not using all the big words and the corporate words that everybody else used. And I'm like, oh, I guess I should say it in this way.
Right.
And then I realized that actually I can take all of that, distill it down, and feel like, oh, that's what they meant? I'm like, yeah, that's what they meant. It means do this in this way. And it becomes accessible, it becomes actionable. And that applies whether I'm talking about clinical care or operational leadership or AI governance. How do you take complicated concepts and make it accessible to people? That's my superpower.
I want to know your impression of the conference so far. What do you think of the conference so far?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, as I was getting ready to come here, I wondered if there was anything else like this out there, like a gathering for women leaders. Like I said, it's a uniquely challenging space. And just seeing over 200 women here cheering each other along, saying, I see you, you get me, you understand my struggle. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. And it's only halfway.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Yeah. And you still have your breakout.
Yes.
No, I think, I do think it is unique because of the focus. I think that there are other conferences that I think people, it's almost like conferences are built to make money. And so they're like, oh, let's put women in there. Oh, let's put, this in there or that in there. And I think that this is, going to be one that hopefully is just focused on bringing value to the people that come,
We
So,
appreciate it on behalf of all the women.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah. And I like I said, I lost it on stage because, it's a passion of mine, and it's weird because I'm not a woman.
Well,
And
we need allies.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird how passionate it is. When you guys know, I mean, this is not something that we need to do, but we need to do it. You know what I mean? So what would you want to leave? People are seeing this podcast. This is going to be put together with several of the other amazing leaders that were on stage today. What one thing would you want to leave, people, and not just women, frankly, and
everyone.
anybody who would watch this?
I want people to know that the world is changing, healthcare is changing, and your unique history and story is necessary to define where we're going. So tell your story, capture it, and tell your story.
That's awesome. That's simple, awesome, amazing. Dr. Nwando Anyaoku. Am I saying that? Anyaoku?
Mess it up that quick.
Let me say it again. Say it for me again.
Dr. Nwando Anyaoku.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Thank you so much. Amazing, Dr. Nwando
Anyaoku. There you go.
Dr. Anyaoku. Dr. Anyaoku.
There you go.
Dr. Nwando Anyaoku. Here on Brilliance, but also on the Less Than 1% podcast.